The way you start your morning decides how you lose your day. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because their mornings are weak. They wake up already distracted, already reactive, already behind, and they repeat that cycle so often that it becomes personality. Listen carefully. The first 10 minutes after you wake up are not casual. They are conditioning. They tell your brain who's in control, you or your impulses. If the first thing you do is hit snooze, you just practice quitting. Small, harmless. 5 more minutes quitting. If the first thing you do is grab your phone, you just told your mind the world's priorities matter more than your own. Notifications, messages, other people's lives, other people's emergencies. And before you even sit up straight, your attention is scattered. This is where most people lose their power. You don't have discipline. You build it, and you build it in moments nobody sees. When the alarm rings and you get up without negotiation, that's not about productivity. That's about identity. You're teaching your brain that your word means something. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, even a small one, you build internal trust. And when you break it, even in tiny ways, you chip away at that trust. Discipline is self-respect in action. Most people think they need motivation to start their day strong. They wait to feel inspired. They wait to feel ready, but feelings are unstable. Discipline is stable, and the truth is harsh but freeing. You don't lack motivation. You lack structure. Look at your mornings honestly. Do you wake up intentionally, or do you wake up and react? Do you move with purpose, or do you drift into the day? Because drifting creates average. Drifting creates confusion. Drifting creates the exact life you complain about. The phone is one of the biggest traps. When you wake up and immediately scroll, you allow comparison to shape your confidence before you even brush your teeth. You see someone else's success, someone else's highlight, someone else's progress, and your brain starts measuring. That quiet measurement creates subtle insecurity, and subtle insecurity changes how you show up. If your phone controls your morning, it will control your mindset. Silence is power. Before the world speaks to you, you need to speak to yourself, not with loud affirmations, not with fake hype, but with stillness. 5 minutes of quiet thought, 5 minutes of breathing, 5 minutes of asking yourself, what kind of person am I choosing to be today? That question matters more than any notification. Your morning is not about productivity hacks. It's about emotional positioning. When you start your day rushed, late, chaotic, you carry that energy into everything else. When you start calm, structured, and deliberate, you walk differently, you speak differently, you decide differently. Comfort is another quiet destroyer. The warm bed, the extra scrolling, the slow, unplanned start. Comfort feels harmless, but comfort repeated becomes weakness. Every small comfort decision trains your brain to choose ease over growth, and that habit spreads. You'll choose easy conversations over necessary ones, easy effort over consistent effort, easy distractions over meaningful focus. Micro choices create macro identity. Most people want confidence, but confidence isn't built in front of others. It's built in private victories. Waking up when you said you would, making your bed when you don't feel like it, moving your body even when you're tired, planning your day instead of hoping it works out. These actions look small, they feel small, but they accumulate, and accumulation creates momentum. Another mistake people make is starting their day emotionally overloaded. They check emails, they check messages, they check social media. Suddenly, they're responding to problems that aren't even theirs yet. Your nervous system spikes before your feet hit the floor, and once your stress is elevated early, it becomes harder to think clearly. Calm mornings create sharp minds. Ownership is the missing piece. You cannot control yesterday. You cannot control who disappointed you. You cannot control what went wrong last week, but you control how you wake up. You control the first decision, and that first decision shapes the second, then the third, then the tone of the entire day. If you begin your morning blaming circumstances, you stay reactive. If you begin your morning accepting responsibility, you stay powerful. This is where most people fail. They treat mornings casually, but mornings are leverage. They are reset buttons. Every sunrise is an opportunity to rebuild discipline, clarity, and direction, but only if you use it intentionally. The question isn't whether you have 8 free minutes. The question is whether you're willing to use 8 minutes to rebuild your identity. Because the version of you that wins does not wake up accidentally. The version of you that wins does not wake up accidentally. They wake up with intention, not loud, not dramatic, not posting about it, just intentional. And intention changes everything, because when you decide your morning belongs to you, the rest of the day starts falling into alignment. Let's talk about something deeper. Most people don't struggle with mornings because they're lazy. They struggle because they've never connected morning discipline to long-term identity. They think it's about productivity. It's not. It's about self-leadership. If you can't lead yourself for the first hour of the day, how will you lead your life? The first hour sets emotional posture. If you rush, your mind rushes. If you scroll, your thoughts scatter. If you delay, your confidence shrinks slightly. But if you move with control, even slowly, you begin the day in command. And command builds certainty. Certainty builds presence. Presence builds results. Most people underestimate how powerful momentum is. Momentum doesn't start with big wins. It starts with simple order. Make your bed, clean your space, drink water, move your body, sit quietly, plan your priorities. None of these actions are impressive, but they signal control. And control over small things creates belief that you can handle bigger things. When your environment is clean, your mind breathes easier. When your body moves, your brain sharpens. When your priorities are written down, your anxiety decreases. These aren't motivational cliches, they're neurological resets. And here's something powerful. When you consistently start your morning strong, you stop negotiating with yourself. You stop asking, should I? You start saying, I do. That shift removes friction. Decision fatigue decreases. Discipline becomes automatic instead of emotional. Now let's address something uncomfortable. Many people sabotage their mornings because they don't like facing themselves in silence. When it's quiet, thoughts surface, doubts appear. Goals feel intimidating. So instead of sitting with that discomfort, they distract. But growth always begins where distraction ends. Silence is not emptiness. It's awareness. When you give yourself a few minutes without noise, you reconnect with clarity. You remember what matters. You remember who you're trying to become. And that reminder shapes how you handle everything that follows. Another powerful shift is replacing reaction with intention. Instead of asking, what's happening today? Ask, what am I making happen today? That subtle language shift moves you from passive to active, from responder to creator. And let's be honest, most people feel overwhelmed not because they have too much to do, but because they start their day without structure. Structure removes chaos. Chaos feeds anxiety. Anxiety kills performance. If you start every day structured, even loosely, your stress decreases naturally. You know what matters. You know what can wait. You know what deserves energy. That clarity alone can change your entire mood. But here's the final truth that changes everything. You cannot build a powerful life with weak mornings. You cannot build self-trust by breaking promises before sunrise. You cannot demand respect from others if you don't respect your own time. The world does not reward potential. It rewards consistency, and consistency starts early. Imagine who you would become if you fix this one area. Imagine waking up without hesitation. Imagine moving without negotiation. Imagine finishing days knowing you led yourself well. That version of you is not far away. It's built decision by decision, morning by morning. No one is coming to fix your discipline. No one is coming to organize your day. No one is coming to build your habits for you. That responsibility belongs to you. And that's not pressure, that's power. Because if it's your responsibility, it's also within your control. You don't need to wake up at 4 a.m. You don't need extreme routines. You need consistency. You need 8 focus minutes, 8 minutes of control, 8 minutes of silence. silence, 8 minutes of intentional movement, 8 minutes that tell your brain, I lead. And once your brain believes you lead, everything changes. Your posture changes, your tone changes, your decisions change. You stop feeling behind. You stop feeling scattered. You stop feeling reactive. You begin feeling steady. That steadiness becomes your advantage. While others rush, you think. While others complain, you execute. While others drift, you build. It doesn't happen overnight. But it happens inevitably when mornings shift. So tomorrow, when the alarm rings, understand this. You are not choosing between sleep and waking. You are choosing between repetition and evolution. The version of you that keeps repeating old habits will press snooze. The version of you that's ready to change will sit up, breathe, and begin. And that single decision, repeated daily, will change far more than your morning.